Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. The bold and the beautiful spoilers tease the clock is winding down for pregnant Luna Nozawa, and she's going to have to put her money where her mouth is. The Spencer family wants answers, and no one knows how to handle Luna's resurrection and pregnancy announcement until they know whether or not Will Spencer Jr. is the father of her unborn child. Is there a tiny chance that Will Spencer Jr. won't be revealed as the father of Luna's child? Keep reading to find out. Next week on the CBS soap, Ashley Jones is reportedly returning as Dr. Bridget Forrester to conduct the highly anticipated paternity test on the Il Giardino killer's baby. Viewers have done the math, and there's really not much of a chance that Luna's baby belongs to anyone else. After all, she was in a coma after the shooting, and the only person she has hooked up with since then is Dollar Bill's son. As much as the Spencer family wants Luna's baby to not be Will's baby, the odds of the DNA test saying he is the father are pretty high. However, a new rumor hints the Il Giardino killer might tamper with her own test and decide at the last minute that she doesn't want the baby to belong to Will Spencer. And she has a good reason. According to B&B Spoilers, Luna Nozawa is a professional at tampering with paternity tests. In fact, she even convinced Bill Spencer Jr. Don Diamont that he was her dad at one point. Luna thought that being pregnant with Will's baby would save her from jail time, but it seems to be putting a huge target on her back. At the last minute, will the Il Giardino killer have a change of heart? Maybe Luna sees the writing on the wall and decides that being Will Spencer Jr.'s baby mama has more cons than pros? Do you think Luna will tamper with the results to save herself and do another test after the baby is born and reveal the truth? In the glittering yet treacherous world of the bold and the beautiful, secrets have a way of clawing their way to the surface, and this time it's Luna Nozawa who finds herself in the eye of a devastating storm. After weeks of tension, speculation, and emotional warfare, the long-awaited paternity test results are finally in. But when the truth is revealed, everyone is left gasping. Will Spencer is not Luna's biological father. What started as an innocent connection between two young souls spirals into a web of deceit that could alter several families forever. The shockwaves from this revelation threaten to unravel not only Luna's fragile sense of identity, but also destroy relationships that were already hanging by a thread. Luna had been on edge for weeks. The whispers at Forrester Creations grew louder with each passing day, and even those closest to her began to question the circumstances surrounding her birth. For a while, it seemed like everyone, from Steffi to Hope to Brooke, had an opinion about who her father might be. Poppy Nozawa, always elusive and fiercely protective, had done everything in her power to avoid a DNA test. But pressure mounted when Bill Spencer, the man once romantically linked to Poppy, demanded answers after seeing undeniable similarities between himself and Luna. When Will Spencer returned to Los Angeles and his flirtatious energy with Luna grew, the story took an uncomfortable turn. Rumors swirled that Will and Luna might share more than just youthful chemistry, that they might share blood. The uncomfortable possibility forced Poppy to finally come clean and agree to a DNA test, supposedly to put all doubts to rest. When the test envelope arrived, Poppy's hands trembled as she held it. She had spent years burying the past, covering tracks, hiding truths, and convincing herself that what was buried could stay that way. But Luna, innocent and desperate for clarity, insisted they open it together. Inside Forrester's office, under the bright lights and judgmental stares, Luna tore the envelope open. Time seemed to stand still. The room fell silent. Then Luna's voice cracked. "Will isn't my father." Gasps filled the air. Bill, who stood beside his son, stiffened, his eyes narrowing in disbelief. Poppy's breath hitched as decades of guilt surged through her. She had prayed this day would never come. For Bill, the moment was more than a relief. It was a revelation. His mind began to race through memories of his passionate yet complicated relationship with Poppy years ago. Suddenly, pieces of a long-forgotten puzzle began to align. Could he be Luna's real father? The idea hit him with full force. The timeline matched. Poppy had once disappeared from his life abruptly, never explaining why. Now, faced with this new truth, Bill's eyes softened as he looked at Luna, seeing her not as a stranger or an intern at Forrester, but as a possible daughter. The realization was both beautiful and terrifying, because if Luna was his, it would mean that his son had nearly crossed an unthinkable line. Will's world crumbles. Will, for his part, was shattered. He had been charmed by Luna's grace, drawn to her innocence and quiet strength. Their chemistry had been undeniable, though both had tried to suppress it out of respect for the growing family tension. But now that the truth was out, that he wasn't her father, relief should have washed over him. Instead, he was left feeling hollow, because even though they weren't related, the scandal had already tainted whatever bond they might have shared. The whispers around Los Angeles were merciless, and Will couldn't escape the shadow of what might have been. To make matters worse, Luna's trust in everyone, including Will, was deeply shaken. She didn't know who to believe anymore. Steffi and Finn react. Another Forrester fallout as news of the shocking DNA results spread across the Forrester halls. Steffi Forrester couldn't help but see the parallels to her own tangled family history. She confided in Finn, worried about what this revelation meant for the company and their family ties. Finn, ever the voice of reason, pointed out that if Bill truly was Luna's father, it would connect the Spencer and Nozawa families in ways no one expected. It could also mean that Bill might use his newfound paternity as leverage, perhaps even to regain influence at Forrester Creations. Steffi, however, wasn't so sure. Phil doesn't do anything without a motive, she said, her tone sharp. And if Luna really is his daughter, we all need to be careful. He's not just going to welcome her with open arms. He's going to make her part of his empire. Poppy's desperate confession. That night, a distraught Poppy returned to her apartment and poured herself a glass of wine, her mind spinning. Luna deserved the truth, but how could she face it? Finally, Luna confronted her mother. "You've lied to me my entire life," she accused. "Who is my father, Mom? Tell me the truth this time." Poppy's eyes filled with tears. She whispered the name she'd been avoiding for decades. "It's Bill Spencer." The air seemed to leave the room. Luna stumbled backward, reeling from the words. All the moments with Bill, his kindness, his curiosity, his fatherly instincts, suddenly made sense. The man she had thought was simply her boss's powerful ex had been her father all along. Bill's dilemma, a father reborn. When Poppy later confirmed the truth to Bill, he was stunned but not entirely surprised. The DNA test may have eliminated Will as the father, but the deeper secret finally emerged. For a man who prided himself on power and control, Bill was uncharacteristically emotional. He had missed every milestone in Luna's life. Her first words, her first heartbreak, her first steps into womanhood. Now, he was faced with a chance to make up for lost time. But Bill being Bill, this wasn't just about fatherhood. It was about legacy. And Luna, with her intelligence and talent, was suddenly part of his dynasty. "You're my daughter," he told her softly, "and from now on, no one will ever make you feel like you don't belong." The fallout to come. While Luna tried to process the shock, the world around her continued to shift. Will, humiliated and heartbroken, left Los Angeles for a while, unable to face his father or Luna. Steffi and Ridge debated how this new Spencer revelation might affect Forrester's business alliances. And Poppy? She braced for the storm she knew was coming, because the truth might have set her daughter free, but it also exposed decades of lies. Luna, now standing between two powerful families, realized her life would never be the same again. She wasn't just Luna Nozawa anymore. She was Luna Spencer, heir to a complicated legacy filled with wealth, ambition, and betrayal. And while Bill welcomed her into his world with open arms, others were already whispering behind closed doors, wondering what this new connection would mean for the future of the bold and the beautiful. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us.